Nigerian masses to avoidable suffering and put everyone under pressure. He, however, said the party's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu would defy the odds to emerge president-elect after Saturday's polls, adding that Nigerians will not because of the ongoing cash crunch. Also, the Presidential Campaign Council of the New Nigeria People's Party has denied that the party's flag bearer, Rabiu Kwakwaso, will drop out of the presidential race. The campaign team of Kwakwaso says he will not step down for any other presidential candidate, including Atiku Abubakar of Nigeria's main opposition, the People's Democratic Party. And in his widely watched interview last month, Mr. Abubakar told the BBC Hausa that he is discussing with Kwakwaso and that it is possible that the former Kano State governor steps down for him in the presidential race. So these two topics rolled up into one what we'll be discussing this first leg of Journalists Hangout today. Biko, regarding the stance of Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the chairman of the APC, while he was addressing journalists on Wednesday, what do you make of all that he said? There were many takeaways. First was the fact where he denied the existence of any cabal in the presidency.
Well, he has to try his best to be politically correct. In every government, there are people you call the kitchen cabinet. In every government, there is a cabal. It all depends on what the cabal does. Is the cabal positively inclined to work with the number one? Is the cabal interested in real growth and development and progress of the country? The cabal can choose, So, but in every, I'm saying that in every government, there's usually the inner caucus, the kitchen cabinet. Even in a military regime, we always have them. During the Babangida years, we had those that were called the IBB boys. IBB boys were largely, dominated by officers of the Armored Corps, people that he trained as an instructor. IBB was an armored officer, and during his time, many soldiers wanted to be in the elite Armored Corps of the Nigerian Army, and he trained a lot of them, like Olurin, Dangiwa Umar, who even headed the Nigerian Army Armored School in Bauchi for some time. So these were people that he had known for years in this administration, who had been close to President Buhari for more than 40 years. Some had worked for him in different capacities, whether as his PA or as his chief of staff or as his speechwriter. By the time he became president, you would expect that those ones will be among the most influential in the administration. President Buhari's first set of appointees were people from northern Nigeria, dominated immensely by people from northern Nigeria. There were some Nigerians who wanted to be hypocritical and were saying, no, he went for merit. The president, in his usual stance, came out to say, no, I didn't go for merit. The first set of people I picked were people that I had known over the years. In subsequent appointments, he would then ask to be given suggestions and all that, because he wasn't also the sort of person, he wasn't the very sociable kind of person. To the point that you can say, oh, he had people all over the country, he had friends all over the country, he had so many friends in the southwest, in the southeast. No, he wasn't that kind of person. So at some point, he had to also rely on input from other people so that he can find some of the right people to work with him. Some of the people who later even became ministers were not people that he had met before. But he admitted that the first set of people, I think the first 11 or so that he appointed, were people that he had, grown accustomed. Some of them were even his relations. Like he's the head of protocol, for example, the guy you see always behind him that usually ensures that the chair is well positioned for him to sit. This is related to him. and many other people like that. So the point that I'm making is that in every government, there will be people privileged of the number one. You can call such people all kinds of names: cabal, inner caucus, inner wheel, kitchen cabinet. It depends. Cabal would appear derogatory. It will appear derogatory, but in any administration, you always have people who are never far away from the man who calls the shots. They are the ones who will give him advice at the last minute. They are the people who see him last. I know some governors that when you visit them, you are with them up till 1 a.m. There are still some people, 3, 4, 5 of them, who will never leave until you are gone. Because he wants them to be close to him, to be with him at all times, so that even if he's about to make a mistake, maybe in discussing with you, he's about to commit himself in a way that could be potentially dangerous. Those are the people who will just find a way to whisper into his ears. Okay, no, do that thing. You will not know what they are discussing. And over the years, they will have grown so accustomed to him that they can read his mood at any time. If they want to present something for him to sign, they know the best time to go to him. There are people who are perfect at reading his mood. They know when you don't take a file to him. If you take that file to him, he will not sign at that time. That will be the end. So in my view, every administration has such people.
Right. And especially in response to a stance by, an earlier bigwig in the party, in the person of Governor El Rufai, who had alluded to the existence of this insider, of this caucus, of this cabal, so to speak, in the context of this controversial Naira redesign policy. From what BKO has said, yes, there are pluses that these inner caucus, bring to the number one. But in this context of, the rumbles that we are still recording on the issue of the redesign policy, what do you have to say about the role this group of persons have played?
Don't also forget that he mentioned something. It could be positive or negative. Even one of the definitions of cabal is a group that unites to fight for their private purposes. Meaning that what they do is to see how they can benefit from a particular government. That is why some of us find those who are working positively with a government, calling them the kitchen cabinet. Because the cabinet comes together, they take decisions. We've seen it work in Lagos. At least the first 2 terms of the presidential candidate of the APC now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as governor in Lagos State. We knew about 6 or 7 people who ran that government. And you can't take it away from them when you look at the foundation that they have laid for Lagos today. Because are you talking of the IGR? Are you talking of physical infrastructure?
All right. Let me interrupt you. I am being urged to take this very crucial break. We will continue with the gentleman in the building right here on Journalist Hangout. Please stay with us.
Fellow Nigerians, as the race for the #1 job in the land hots up, it's time to ask ourselves very critical questions. Is the job for the wavering or inconsistent fellow? Is the job for a man who is not steadfast? Is the job for a man who is not loyal, firm, or principled? Someone who has no allegiance to a cause or a party? Nigerians, can we trust him? Should we trust him? Nigeria is at a crossroads and needs an unwavering, decisive, loyal leader. Nigerians, on the 25th of February 2023, don't be deceived. Vote wisely.
Election time is here again. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the answer. A man with good vision on a mission with solution. For a better Nigeria, vote the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Jagaban. Together, the APC presidential candidate and Delta State APC governorship candidate, Senator Ovioma Agege, will resuscitate the Warri, Koko, and Burutu ports. The EPZ project including creating an enabling environment for the return of oil companies to Delta State. Vote 5/5, vote APC. Vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for president and Alhaji Kashim Shettima for vice president. Senator Ovioma Agege CFR for governor of Delta State and Honorable Friday Osanedi for deputy governor. Renewed Hope 2023 and the edge to ban. APC progress.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News.
Hello guys, do you know that Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope 2023 action plan will address critical issues that inhibit the rights of persons with disabilities through the following initiatives? Strengthen the capacity of our existing educational institutions to cater to the special needs of children and persons living with disabilities, provision of necessary mobility aids such as access ramps to public buildings and public transportation, implementation of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018. A Tinubu administration will lead by example by appointing qualified persons living with disabilities to serve in government. Encourage several sports-loving Nigerians living with disabilities to develop their talent by providing the enabling environment and by introducing a nationwide Paralympic Sports Festival. Provide free health insurance cover for children living with disabilities to help ameliorate their condition. Vote APC for an inclusive government. This message, APC, PCC Youth Directorate.
When I was younger, I got asked a question by a friend. What is the ultimate dream in life? You see, in my several decades on Earth, I have seen trends come and go, hopes dashed and deserted. But the story of success has taught us that the ultimate dream should be one that inspires you to paddle through the odds to victory. Finally, I had the answer. The ultimate dream is not a destination. It is a journey of pushing through the odds. It is about challenging the norm, to strive for excellence, to always be in motion, to never give up.
Hello guys, have you checked out the Renewed Hope 2023 action plan by Bola Tinubu on his ideas about youth empowerment and entrepreneurship? Check this out. The Tinubu administration will inaugurate a youth advisory council to the newly developed employment action plan. It will reserve at least 3 cabinet positions for persons under the age of 40 and 6 more positions for members under the age of 50. It will reform the NYC program to bring it into the modern world and make it a platform from which young graduates can spring into their chosen careers. It will establish a presidential fellowship scheme to give talented and determined young Nigerians new opportunities to experience and participate in governance and politics. The Tinubu administration's youth development program in Lagos led to the annual one-day governor through the annual Spelling Bee for secondary school students. Vote APC for the future.
Every morning we feel guilty of this place is the same. Lagos, a city I call home, a beacon of hope, an idea rooted in the belief that we all hold dearly, from the lady who sells on the street corners to the top executive in the corner office. That notion that if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's a mentality. It's the drive. Lagos is not just bright lights and high rises. It's home to the most enterprising Africans on the planet. It's a vibrant city, a melting pot of different tribes and tongues, a testament to who we are as Nigerians, reminding us that there's more that unites us than divides us. Now, over the years, we've made incredible strides, but there's still a lot to achieve. For many, the dividends of our Commonwealth are out of reach. That's why we must continue to look out for one another, making sure our voices are heard and our leaders are connected and accountable. We must ensure that we leave this city better than we found it. Doing so for the greatest good of the greatest number of our people. The decision we make today must remain consistent with what got us here. A focus on people, a plan and progress. That's why I'm all in with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That's why I vote the APC.
Many thanks for staying with us on Journalist Hangout. Let's continue our conversation, which we had started earlier. Doctor,
so like I said,
just for you to quickly wrap up on that point of, your takeaways from Adamu's meeting with journalists yesterday.
So like I said, kitchen cabinet is more positive for some of us. And that's why what El Rufai said against what the chairman is saying, they are quite clear. If the so-called cabal in the presidency has made positive impact, we shouldn't be hearing from the party's national chairman, talking about the policy of a government in power affecting or not affecting its candidates for a political contest, which is what this has brought out clearly, that advising the president, they are not doing it the right way, in which every member of that party will feel convinced. You may not be satisfied with certain policies, but you'll be convinced that this is in the best interest of the country. And that's purely what has happened in this case.
And another statement that stood out, BKO, was where Alhaji Adamu said that the party was heading to the polls this year united, as against, people that had been talking about bickerings here and there, targeted at even the flag bearer.
Yeah, but what he meant was clear. Even if they had issues, it wasn't from within the party. And El Rufai also said that clearly, that look, this policy was not the policy of our party. Let's face it, it's not everyone who would take this kind of, who will come up with this kind of policy when he knows that he's chasing re-election. Mr. President would not have come up with this policy if he was chasing re-election. Mr. President had the opportunity to remove subsidy. He told everyone in his team that he would not remove subsidy. He preferred to kick the can down the road. Long after he's gone, subsidy can be removed. And everyone knew at that time that, they didn't want to do it because elections were coming. Because what you would normally expect was that the moment we came up with the PIA, which is revolutionary for that sector, everyone had wanted it for years, more than 20 years, we were chasing this thing. You would think that the moment we achieve that, we will move the post-subsidy era. But Mr. President then said, okay, this PIA, this law would take effect, not immediately, pushed it, because to remove subsidy and go into an election with the pains on the faces of people, of course you know that they will teach you a lesson. Even what Jonathan did back then when he removed the subsidy partially, people still punished him for it in 2015 because they felt it was insensitive. People had just come back from home, Christmas break, and then you did this. So that is the thing. The timing was wrong. It's not as if the policy is in itself bad. The timing was wrong, and the implementation is terrible. It's shambolic, no doubt about it. You can see Nigerians are now buying their own currency from people. I have a friend who bought 200,000 Naira for 240,000, paid premium of 40,000 on top of it. All kinds of, it's nonsense. Honestly, it's really nonsensical. So, but he's saying, look, our candidate will win in spite of that because they found a way to appeal to the viewers that, look, it is not the fault of these ones. Some people misled the president. And I think that many voters, especially in the North, believe that if Asiwaju Tinubu wins the election, this policy will be reversed. So that's also helping the party. I'm sure that's why he's confident that in spite of it, that their candidate can win the election.
All right. I think I should suspend your own segment now because there is another break that we should take at this time. Please stay with us. You're watching Journalist Hangout.
And I'm from Abeokuta, Ogun State. Actually, I just got here coming from United States as a frequent flyer into Nigeria. I've never been to this airport. I've kind of heard about it, but I've never seen it. So when I came out from the airport, I was kind of disoriented a little bit, like what's going on here?
I'm Comrade Derigo Ehidiame. I'm from Edo State, Nigeria. I'm coming from a trip. I've passed through so many African countries before getting to this place. When I saw Nigeria airport, I marvel.
So I just want to commend the work that's been done here. It's a beautiful place. I mean, I made quite some videos and pictures, unlike the other airports.
Kudos to the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari.
And I give it up to Buhari for giving us this beautiful airport. I hope the maintenance culture kicks in.
Hello Nigerians, my name is Kashim Shetima. I'm the APC Vice Presidential candidate. Here we have 1,776 orphans, vulnerable orphan girls from Northern Borno, all of them victims of Boko Haram, who are housed and educated, getting the best that the nation has on offer. Look at this edifice. It's about one of the best schools in the nation. And this has been replicated along the length and breadth of Borno and further sustained by Governor Babagana Umara Sulu. What I think to office, we promise you such edifices will be replicated. Both Bola is your Nigeria come February 25th.
My brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states so that we don't cause an issue. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
Hello guys, did you know that of all the major candidates, Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope 2023 action plan contains the most detailed and innovative solutions on the best approach to building our national economy? Check out some of the ways in which Asiwaju plans to bring prosperity back to Nigeria. Focus on industry and manufacturing to build an economy that produces more of the items we need. Complete the Great Green Wall of the North to reduce forced economic migration, review the corporate tax system and deploy technology and effective policies to earn more revenues for the federal government, reform the civil service to fight corruption, reduce bureaucracy and increase the efficiency of government service delivery. Asiwaju had an impressive track record as a governor in Lagos. Under his administration, Lagos grew its revenue base from 600 million naira a month to 50 billion naira a month. Vote APC so that Asiwaju can do for Nigeria what he did for Lagos. Vote APC for a prosperous and economically stable Nigeria.
This message is powered by the APC PCC Youth Directorate.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Election time is here again, and it's time to vote for quality leadership, experience, and competence. As a renewed hope 2023, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the answer. A man with good vision on a mission with solution. For a better Nigeria, vote the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Jagaban. Together, the APC presidential candidate and Delta State APC governorship candidate, Senator Ovioma Agege, will resuscitate the Warri, Cocoa, and Burutu ports. The EPZ project, including creating an enabling environment for the return of oil companies to Delta State. Vote 5/5, vote APC. Vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for president and Alhaji Kashim Shettima for vice president. Senator Ovioma Agege CFR for governor of Delta State, and Honorable Friday Osanebi for deputy governor. Renewed Hope 2023 and the edge to ban. APC progress.
Good day, my fellow Nigerians. My name is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress. I wish to use this medium to personally thank you and seek your support and prayers for the upcoming presidential election. This election is crucial to our democracy and development as a nation, and we need to get it right. I therefore appeal to you to vote for me. And track record to deliver on my promise to you to build a better Nigeria for all. I've done it before in Lagos, and with your support, I can do it again, even much better. You are special, and I believe with consistent collaboration, we will achieve remarkable development. Please, join me on this journey of a renewed hope. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless Nigeria.
It's good to have you join us again on Journalists Hangout. So, to the second leg of our conversation about NNPP asserting or accusing Abubakar of propaganda, blackmail, and all that after he had said that that Rabiu Kwankwaso would step down for him.
I think it's all politics. And the way politics is played everywhere in the world, you do it more in the realm of talking. It's about how well you can talk and sweet talk people into what you believe. If you've been in the news of recent, you will see even some other parties saying this person has dropped this ambition for this, and then another faction will come and say, no, that's not the way it is. For instance, the Labour Party in the Southwest, some people came up and said something, and then another faction came and countered. But today, the presidential candidate came and said, see, I've stepped down for the APC candidate. So all of these are talks that are ongoing. It's possible that it was not Kwankwaso that was discussing directly with Atiku. It's possible it's somebody they believe has his mandate. But it's also possible that Atiku was saying it, projecting that he'll be able to convince him. You know, we've been on all this talk of Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, and Atiku forming an alliance. It's all been there. And for every opportunity that politicians have to drop a word, they use it so that somebody who has had it and who has had that as a final word may go to the poll and cast his vote.
All right. BK, on the flip side, what do you think about this subject? Apparently, from what we see now, these four major contenders for the presidential race are not, having any form of merger or some.
It's even too late in the day. The law does not permit any form of merger at this time. It's too late in the day, and Atiku shouldn't have gone to town telling people that he was confident that Rabiu Kwankwaso that he was in talks with Rabiu Kwankwaso and the Labour Party candidate. Both candidates reacted angrily to the suggestion because you were not in talks with them. You don't say things simply to impress your listeners or your own political base. You are not in talks with them, and they vehemently denied that there was any form of a conversation on the issue of stepping down. At that time, it's gone. You know, so, and Kwankwaso, as I've said before on this program, is already looking at the post-2023 political leadership in the North. He sees himself as the person who will inherit the mantle from Buhari and Atiku. So he's not ready to play second fiddle. He thinks that that leadership position has been prepared for him. So if he goes now to join Atiku, then too bad for him. I think that's the way he's thinking.
BKO, it's time now, BKO and Dotso, of course, it's time now to, look at how the elections will be fought and won. And of course, this segment has, become an eye-opener for many, especially when you look at the dynamics, the intrigues state by state. And now we have a couple of states to look out for now today. In no particular order, there is Lagos, there's Bauchi, and a host, and some northern states. But for you now, hearing what are you, what sticks out for you particularly? Before we take that, before we actually begin this segment head on, let's quickly take a breather at this point now, and we will be right back.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
TVC News first with breaking news.
We cover the big political stories in Nigeria, but people want more than just politics.
Business news, sports naturally, but you need news to live by also.
Stories about education, health, personal finance, and hey, even life.
And welcome to the Pundit's Corner, a segment on Journalist Hangout where we analyze the shape that the three general election will take. And today we are beaming our searchlight on a couple of states, as I hinted before the break. And we start off with Bauchi. Bauchi State, BKO. Let's just quickly run through the key dynamics in Bauchi State. Of course, it's governed by Governor Bala Mohammed, and that had been in the news, over the course of this campaign. But for you, what can you tell us?
Well, Bauchi is divided, especially for the presidential election and the governorship election. The governorship election will be very keen. The presidential election will be very keen. In 2019, APC dominated all the elections in Bauchi except the governorship election. APC has always been a place, a good hunting ground for President Buhari, and they won all the elections except the chief election. I want to believe that this time around, with a PDP governor and the SADU, the House of Assembly election will be much more competitive, because the governor will want to see if his party can control the House, because the last time APC was in control of the House. And then, of course, the senatorial election, House of Reps election, they are also going to be competitive, but I give APC a slight edge. The presidential election, again, we are going to see a tough contest. There are some dynamics that we see in this race in states that are heavily dominated by the Muslim faith. We see them leaning towards Tinubu. Bauchi has no less than 80% Muslim, and when you look at, put everything together, it looks like a state that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can take, because all my checks show that he had a slight edge. Although with the PDP governor in place, anything can still happen. But Asiwaju has a slight edge in Bauchi for now.
All right.
So we have Kano. Kano is also another state where the contest will be very, very interesting. Remember the last election, Abba Kabir Yusuf alias Abba Gida of the PDP narrowly lost after a rerun to Governor Ganduje. This time around, Abba Kabir Yusuf, Abba Gida is the candidate of the NNPP, which is Kwankwaso's party, and he is up against Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna of the APC. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna has been making real progress in the last few weeks. Unfortunately, Kwankwaso could not do, up till now, could not do a rally in Kano because he wanted to end his rallies across the country in Kano. But eventually he picked the same venue as the ruling party. So the police have wisely said, no, this can't happen, so that there won't be a clash between of parties of supporters. So I don't know what impact that could have in the election, in the final analysis. But the governorship contest in Kano is too close to call at this time. It's too close to call, although some people will say that Abba Kabir Yusuf has a slight edge over the candidate of the APC, but I will say that it is too close to call. In the Senate election, Kano South has Kabir Gaya, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC, going against Kawu Sumaila. Kawu Sumaila was an aide, a legislative aide to the president before he decided to contest this election. That is an election that will be very, very close. There are some people who believe that Kabir Gaya has been too long in the National Assembly, and they are looking in the direction of Kawu Sumaila, who is of the NNPP. Now, we are keeping an eye on that contest because I know it will be tough. Of course, Kano North, Senator Barau, also has a tough battle on his hand to retain his Kano North seat. But I think that everything put together, Senator Barau, having done so much for his people, will be able to clinch that position. In the House of Reps, the majority leader, in the House of Reps, Tosu, the majority leader, Ado Dogwa, also has a tough battle against the NNPP candidate. The NNPP has been a threat all day long.
So it's a party to beat.
Yes. Kwankwaso is very popular in Kano. He has young people who you don't need to give them a dime; they are ready to fight for you. So Adodogwa has a tough job on his hands. Once you can win Tudunwada, which is one part of the constituency, you've won the race. And he's not from Tudunwada. He knows now that he has to do his best to not lose in the community that has the greater population. So there's so much that will happen in that place in the election. The presidential election, Asiwaju has a slight edge. You can't believe it. Asiwaju has a slight edge in Kano. That is because even across party lines, there are people who still want to vote for him, who on other days will have loved to the NNPP, but they would rather vote for him. And then coupled with the incumbency factor,
absolutely,
he has a slight edge. And we all know that Kano has 6,950 something, 5,950 something registered voters. So yes, almost 6 million, just a little less than 6 million registered voters. That is, and given the way Kanawa come out to vote, that is a state that every party wants to win. Interestingly here, the battle is between the NNPP, Kwankwaso, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The PDP, in my view, will most likely come third. So that is for Kano.
All right, BKO, we've gotten to another point where we must take this crucial break. We'll come back to the pundit segment of journalists Hangout for more analysis of how the elections will be won.
Every morning may feel different, but the audacity of this place is the same. Lagos, a city I call home, a beacon of hope, an idea rooted in a belief that we all hold dearly. From the lady who sells on the street corners to the top executive in the corner office. That notion that if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's a mentality. It's the drive. Lagos is not just bright lights and high rises. It's home to the most enterprising Africans on the planet. It's a vibrant city, a melting pot of different tribes and tongues, a testament to who we are as Nigerians, reminding us that there's more that unites us than... Now, over the years, we've made incredible strides, but there's still a lot to achieve. For many, the dividends of our Commonwealth are out of reach. That's why we must continue to look out for one another, making sure our voices are heard and our leaders are connected and accountable. We must ensure that we leave this city better than we found it. Doing so for the greatest good of the greatest number of our people. The decision we make today must remain consistent with what got us here. A focus on people, a plan, and progress. That's why I'm all in Sanwo-Olu. That's why I vote the APC.
My name is Kashim Shetima. I'm an agricultural economist, a banker by profession, and now a public servant by calling. I was the governor of Borno State for 8 years. In the heat of the Boko Haram, we set up an agricultural transformation committee. We crisscrossed the world and invested in the whole agricultural value chain. Lagos is the smallest state in Nigeria in terms of landmass, 3,577 square kilometers. But the largest rice mill in Africa and the third largest in the world is located in Imota in Lagos. That is the power of ideas. Bola Tinubu is an idea whose time has come. Let us vote for the President of Nigeria, 5th of February. God bless Nigeria.
Other anti-corruption legislations that we have taken pains to bring about out of desire to ensure the success of the anti-corruption drive of the federal government include the following. Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2017, Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit Act 2017, Mutual Legal Assistance Act 2018, Company and Allied Matters Act Incorporating Beneficial Ownership 2020, Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, Witness Protection and Management Act 2022.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Nigeria needs focused leadership to take decisive action to end insecurity, reposition our economy for businesses to thrive, and restore total peace in the land. Tinubu is the right man for the job. Through innovation and technology, he will reposition Nigeria for businesses to thrive. Nigeria will export more and import less. Tinubu will reposition the agricultural sector for food security and improve farmers' welfare. Electricity will be reformed for a brighter Nigeria. Health, education, and housing will be more accessible and affordable. Nigeria will be transformed into an entertainment powerhouse, a home of sporting achievement, and a renowned tourist destination. Tinubu's government will build a Nigeria where we prosper together. He has done it before, and he will do it again for Nigeria.
For renewed hope 2023, vote Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President and Vice President of Nigeria. Vote APC.
Everybody make way vote Obara. That should be the one for the job. Everybody make way vote Obara. That should be the one for the job. Let us of friend, contribute constituency, can fill out with trust, courage, competence, commitment and character. Everybody make way vote Obara.
Vote Kafilat Adetola Ogbara for House of Rep Koshofe Federal Constituency. Vote APC. Vote Ogbara.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Fellow Nigerians, as the race for the #1 job in the land hots up, it's time to ask ourselves very critical questions. Is the job for the consistent fellow? Is the job for a man who is not steadfast? Is the job loyal, firm, or principled? Someone who has no allegiance to a cause or a party? Nigerians, can we trust him? Should we trust him? Nigeria is at a crossroads and needs an unwavering, decisive, loyal leader. Nigerians, on the 25th of February 2023, don't be deceived. Vote wisely.
Many thanks for staying with us. You're watching Journalist Hangout on TVC News. You were talking about, how the elections will be won in a couple of states. We still have about 3 more. I don't know how we can, juggle all of this into the available few minutes left. BKO, Lagos, Rivers, Katsina. Which would it be for you? Which stands out?
I don't know where to start. Normally, I like to show my conclusions, but
time isn't our friend right now.
As you can see, it's just impossible to do that. People would think that you just got up and say, "Oh, this is how it will happen." It's painful. That's how I would describe it, because it makes nonsense of the hard work that has gone into all this. But that's the way it is. Rivers State, Wike has already told these people to work for the candidate of the APC in the presidential election. That is a massive boost for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's chances, because it then means now that he has the most dominant political figure in Rivers on his side, and that could tilt the pendulum of victory to his side, because he also has Magnus Abe supporting him, and he's a tough grassroots person. Wike's camp, Atiku's camp, So it gives the APC an edge, because a lot of the Wike supporters would have loved to support the Labour Party candidate, but the directive is clear whom Wike wants, and it is the candidate of the APC. So Ashwaju will do very well in Rivers, and he could even take Rivers. Katsina, this time around the election, will be very keen, very close. The governorship election will be close. The presidential election will be close. But I expect the candidate, the governorship APC, rather to win the contest, win the governorship contest. I expect APC to dominate the National Assembly and also Assembly elections. And I project a narrow win for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Katsina. Which state do we have?
Lagos.
Oh, Lagos. Lagos, the candidate of the Labour Party will do well in some constituencies, but Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be too strong for him here in Lagos. And I project that Asiwaju will win Lagos by a good margin because the party is much more united now. In the past, they used to vote against one another. The party is much more united now, and that is a good impetus for Asiwaju Tinubu. I expect the APC to win the presidential election in Lagos and do well in other elections. Will get considerable votes, but that's all I can say.
All right. Well, that will be all that we have time for on Johnless Hangout, regardless of, the challenges and, the odds that we had to brave on the show. We still must thank BKO for your insightful analysis on the program today. Dr. Oladipo was also our guest on Johnless Hangout today. Big thank you to him as he has had to leave. And of course, we still have one more edition of Journalists Hangout this week, Friday, which will be the eve of the election. And we want you to keep a date with us on the Friday edition of Journalists Hangout. From all of us here, many thanks for watching. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
My name is Kashim Shetima. I'm the APC Vice President. According to Korn Ferry, a global consulting firm, by 2030, there will be a global talent deficit of 85 million. Because of our useful population, our geographic location, and our proficiency in English, Nigeria stands a unique chance of becoming the global talent factory. The building behind us is the Secretariat for the Implementation of the Startup Act. Is the Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. Of the 7 unicorns in Africa, 5 are in Nigeria, all in Lagos. It wasn't a coincidence, neither was it an accident. It wasn't magic. It is called leadership. It is the Tinubu effect. Vote wisely, vote Bola Tinubu for the President of Nigeria. God bless us all.
Shallow, it's okay, make it relax like it's your by day. Anything you want to do it on, if you do, I'm no need to delay. You no need to stress yourself, eh? You got that world in your hand. Living like a baby girl for life, make the people know. If you wanna buy your headtime, oh yes. Easy access, now one time. Oh yes. Everything break it there, oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. My MTN, my MTN.
Download my MTN NG app and get 1 GB free. Also, get up to 2 GB when you recharge 500 Naira and above with your debit card on the app. Plus 10%